I talk about boundaries all the time, guys. Boundaries are huge for me. When I am in my room with my people, boundaries are important because people take advantage of us. So I usually have a filter. I don't have a filter. Sorry, guys. I hope I don't offend anybody. I always say that 85% of this world are liars, cheaters, and manipulators. It's just sad. It is what it is. And I go, boundaries are important because people are toxic. And I go, a lot of the times somebody's trying to get something from you, and I have to set my boundaries for me. So for those of you guys who know what a boundary is, I don't set my boundary for you, I set my boundary for me. And I go, if I set my boundary for you, I'm controlling you. Controlling is no good. You cannot control another human being ever. You will be sadly disappointed. You will run out of gas, disillusioned, irritated, just plainly pissed off. And the relationship will go really, really bad. And again, it doesn't matter if you're single or married. I talk about my married people all the time. Hey, by the way, where's that boundary? Because the way he's treating you is not appropriate. And I go, boundaries are set for me. And I go, so a boundary looks like, hey, by the way, I really don't like that behavior. So if it continues, I need to check out. I either need to take space from you, or I'm gonna just go ahead and go, or we're not gonna be together. So I always say, like, hey, if a man says at some point and he calls me a name and I go, hey, a boundary says, hey, I really appreciate you not calling me that. It's kind of inappropriate and it hurts my feelings. And I go, please don't. And I go, and then if he does it again, I go, hey, remember that conversation we had the other day when I said I really don't like it when you call me a name and you just did it again? So if you do it one more time, it's like baseball, it's 3 strikes and you're out. Right? Unless he hits you and it's just a pop fly and we're just done, right? And I go, but if he calls you a name, 2 warnings. One is a get out of jail free card. The next one is a really nice reminder that if you do it again, we're all good. And I go, hey, by the way, second time you called me a name, hey, you take care. And I go, and I do. And a boundary is set in stone, concrete. No is no is no is no. Those of us who have raised children know, don't touch it. Today is no, tomorrow is no, next week is no, next month is no. It's all no. And I go, but what people do is they set a boundary and then they go, oh, well, today I'll let it go because I'm either tired or, but I like him. Or I don't care if it's Matthew McConaughey at your door. If he has a no-go and he breaks a boundary, we're all good. Because there's another one around the corner, I promise you. Men, it's like fishing. We put our pole out there. I look at it and I go, it's a little short. I mean, not short stature-wise, but it's just missing something. So I throw it back. Oh, I mean, you can set boundaries in marriages too. And I go, it looks like, hey, honey, I would really like you to take me on a date. And I go, and then I go, Tuesday would be good. And then from there, he should kind of like really kind of take over, right? Or I look at if he's name calling you or he's disrespectful, or at some point he's on social media way too much. And I say, hey, honey, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. I tell you what, I'll get off social media if you get off social media. The problem is I go, with boundaries, I go, well, let me back up. I say 7 steps of a happy marriage, I only get to 1 step. And I go, fairness and equality. What I do, you do. And I go, so if I say, hey, honey, I really don't like you on social media because I really want to spend time with you, do not pick up your phone and go on social media and give some excuse, well, you were watching TV or you were doing this. And I go, because at some point I go, I look at you and if you're on social media, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Are you on social media, therefore I get on social media? Or you're on social media, therefore I get on it, or I'm on it, and it's all just backwards. And I go, set a standard for yourself. And I go, that's what I talk about all the time is I go, I'm in control of me. And I go, I want a platform to stand on. So when I set boundaries for myself, I know that I stand on a platform which says, I would never call you a name, so please don't call me one, right? I would never treat you this way, so please don't treat me this way, right? But if I don't have a platform to stand on, how can I say, please don't call me a horrible name if I'm sitting around calling you a horrible name? It doesn't work. Do you catch my drift? And I go, I'm responsible for me. And I go, so for my women, I'm always empowering you that it's put yourself first, know what you need, set some boundaries for yourself, and walk your walk. And I go, do not walk your walk and think that your man's gonna walk the walk like Alex said, right? Confidence is everything, ladies. Confidence is everything, and I truly believe it. No man wants a woman sitting at home in her bathrobe eating her bonbons. I have women who come in that are depressed and they say, Renee, I just really want my man to love me. And I go, well, sitting on the couch in your bathrobe, eating your bonbons, crying, no man says, oh my God, that's so sexy. Never. He never says that ever. He says, oh my God, I think I'm gonna call my friend and go out for the evening, right? And I go, my ladies, empower yourself, be confident, do you. Whether you're married or not, do you. You should have your own identity, you should have your own person, right? You should have a life, you should be doing things. And I go, and if you're married, respect is obviously a huge key. We should not be at a bar with a bunch of men, or I shouldn't be at some point leaving my husband at home when he wants to spend time with me because at some point something else is better. And I go, you should want to spend time with each other, but don't lose your identity. So I tell my women all the time, I have a hobby, my man should have a hobby, and then we have a hobby together. And I go, but I have my separateness, and I don't morph. Women morph. Please don't. And I go, morphing looks like this. Hi, my name's Renee, and I really love wine, which I really do, right? Hence wine event. And I go, I really like wine, and I do all of these really great things, and I have all my hobbies, and I meet him, and I go, oh my God, what do you want to do? No, where do you want to eat? No, I'll do whatever you want to do. You want to stay home? Okay, that's fine. No, we're good, whatever. It's all you. What do you want to do, babe? And I go, no. Hi, my name's Renee. I like wine. I like going out. I like doing my thing, right? I have these hobbies. And I go, you want to sign on to my ride? And I go, and I don't change. Boundaries, I don't change. Do you? Life starts coming at you, and it seems very overwhelming. And I go, honestly, at the end of the day, you have to really prioritize what's important, right? And I go, I start with me, and I look at what's coming my way, and I say, what's important for me? Self-care is number one, and I go, self-care is important. What do I need today? Do I need to take some time, meditate, yoga, listen to music? Do I need to go for a drive? Do I need to at some point call a friend? What do I need? And I go, self-care and coping skills are everything for me, right? And I go, so in my own life, like you probably know, I have a lot on my plate. And I go, some days, I just go, hey, it's 7 o'clock, I'm going to bed early, because tomorrow's gonna look amazing in the morning. And I go, sometimes it's really about just coming down from your day and prioritizing what's really important. Because I go, some of the stuff that comes your way, really at the end, it's not that important, but I go, we stack them up. And I go, so I got this one and that one and this one and that one. And I go, so when you start pulling it apart at the end of the day, not that important. But we make them really, really important. I go, and I know this is a weird way of looking at things, but I go, if I had a week left on this lovely earth of mine, what would I be really worried about at this point? And I go, am I worried about a coworker not liking me? And I go, am I worried at some point that my mom didn't call me this week? And I go, what am I worried about? And I go, sometimes at the end of the day we worry because they're just stacking up. And we have to at some point figure out what's most important. And I start with me. Self-care. Pedicure, manicure, glass of wine, shopping, hanging out with friends. And I go, the other thing I was gonna say too is like having a great support network. That's why I had this event. It is really hard for women to make friends nowadays. I say this very nicely, but sometimes women can be very catty, and we tend to be very mean to other women. We size each other up. We're looking at your outfit, your handbag, and what kind of shoes you're wearing, right? And I go, we have to learn that at some point we should be coming together. That is why I actually did this event, is for women to meet other women that either work in the same field, or we're the same age, or we have something in common, or just the sheer notion that we showed up at a wine party and there was plenty of wine, right? I go, that's the whole idea. So I'm really actually thankful beyond belief for you guys to be here. And I go, for those of you guys who know me personally, know that this is a really important journey for me. And I'll just smidgetly just end with this. For those of you guys who know me, I grew up in a home. My mom was not very nice to me. My sister was not very nice to me. And my dad was kind of an avoider. So I was kind of bullied growing up. And so having a certain sense of a value system was really hard for me. Like, I look for value in other things. And I didn't have confidence. I didn't have confidence. And but I know that I needed to put one foot in front of the other, and that's all I did, was put one foot in front of the other. At some point I go, I want to give back to others, because I knew what it was like to grow up alone. And I go, I didn't have anybody. I didn't have a lot of friends. And then when I got divorced and I didn't have anyone because my family's not out here, I did most of this alone. And so at some point I started having good people in my life, and I go, that's how I built this dream. Honestly, at the bottom of the day, this is my dream, and I appreciate you guys all just showing up and supporting the cause. Thanks, guys.